Sanibonani South Africa mahle. Dear South Africans, I want to remind you something very, very, very critical. Something that's in you, in each and every one of you, and which is a blessing to us as a country to have a man like him to represent our country, to become the first black president. Mr. Mandela, the man of integrity, the man of honor. I just want to remind South Africans, maybe you have been misled, had the sellout story. Maybe you have heard the sellout story, but please, this is propaganda. I want you to listen to the man, listen to the man, because of some of black South African have never had a chance to listen to his speeches, listen to everything he stand for and he stood for in the world stage. Not in South Africa, in the world stage. And he was prepared to die for that. So, Mr. Mandela, the hero, the myth, the man to the youth who found this world with so many information, I just want you to throw out all the things you have heard about the man, bad things, that he's a sellout. Those are bad things. This is a hero. This man is a hero. Just listen to few speeches that he dominated the world with, that made the South African name be solidified in the world stage, that we can take care of ourselves if we have minds like this. So, Mr. Mandela, so let me just play a few clips and remind you as a South African. So yeah, let's go.
Did you get the racist guards to treat you with respect? You're in prison and you said, I will only respond to the name Mandela or Mr. Mandela.
You must fight the battle for dignity on the very first day you go to jail.
Really?
And that's what we did. We put our foot down and insisted in being respected, even though we were prisoners. And we eventually succeeded in that.
When I found some place in my country and a lady answered the telephone, I then asked, to whom am I speaking? She said, you're speaking to me. I said, well, lady, I know I'm speaking to you, but what's your name? She said, who are you to ask for my name? What's your name? I say, well, lady, as soon as you tell me your name, I'll tell you mine. But as we argued as to who should tell his or her name, she became very cross. And she said, you seem to be a backward person. Have you passed your matric? Now, matric in our country is a university entry examination. And I said, well, lady, you must be very careful. Because if the qualification to speak to you is the possession of a matric certificate, I might work hard and pass my matric and be in the same class as you are. That was treason. She said, you will never be in my class, and bang the telephone. How I wish she were here today.
Come on, guys. Come on. You gotta prove the people wrong. You gotta prove them wrong. Us as black South African, we've forgotten the essence where we have a good foundation. If Mandela is the first foundation of South Africa, the new South Africa. Come on. I don't know what's the problem with us who don't want to listen to our history and our heroes. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
She would now discover that I have achieved more than pass my matric.
I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be.
What can assure me as a human being and a concerned African?
You heard from the man. He said, if we want the change in this country, we should be the change that we want. Stop protesting about the change. Yes, protest is part of it shouldn't be the only tool we have at our disposal. Become the change. So yeah, we need to look at our heroes. Listen to what they have taught us. Instead of listening to the people who you hardly relate to. They hardly know your struggle. This man is not just a South African. It's a universal hero. He forgave the enemies, the colonizers, the people who did crazy things to him, to his family, to his wife, to his time. Come on, guys. After a man endured so much, I see other South African falling for the sellout stuff. We need to cut that off now. It's time to cut that off. But let's continue to determine a man by his values and by his action.
Me as a human being and a concerned African American, that the ANC will indeed have a fiscal solvent policy that will continue the use of the resources of South Africa in a meaningful way. Or should I put it more succinctly, will your economy be based on the Marxist system, socialism, or capitalism, or both?
I knew that was the question you wanted to ask.
Let's give it to the man. The confidence. Let's give it to the man. I don't know, man. The confidence of the man. Yeah. These are the lessons our elder has taught us. The confidence. He has been through so much. So he understands. But let's listen what the question is.
I am happy that you have had the courage to put it directly. We are not concerned with models. We are not concerned with labels. We are practical men and women whose solutions are dictated by the actual conditions existing in our country. As somebody has said, we do not care whether the cat is black or white, as long as it can catch mice.
Come on, let's go. We are tired of Katlego calling people communist, calling people capitalist. We don't care. You label the cat. It's black or as long as it catches the mice. If our people right now, they need a little bit of their our people in that time, would need the government intervention for them to prosper, for government funding, for government to take some of the land, for government to utilize our resources. Not all the resources be outside the government. But if that doesn't work, we shift. It's not about the labels, socialist, because if you want to call us communist or socialist, you already put us in a box that we can't explore, we can't see other things. We are tired of you labeling people communist or socialist. Some of these people are businessmen. They believe in capitalism. They believe in free trade. But at the moment, like China, you see what China did. It's a communist state, and it has risen with everything with the human capital that it has, with the technology that it has, world trade, the free trade that it had, and with the dignity that it had and the patience that it had, with everything. And China has billionaires. It's a communist state. It's a communist state, but it implements what works for them. If, okay, at this point we need capitalists who does this, we give them a platform. Then we broadcast them to the world with our influence, with our money, with our power as a country. If that works for us at that moment, stop labeling us, man. Let's go.
First thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
Can't change the world unless you change yourself. Die from the sicknesses if you don't seek the health. All eyes be more witnesses and seek the health. We can't change the world unless we change ourselves. If we don't change ourselves, then yeah.
And one of the most important weapons in changing yourself is to recognize that peace, people everywhere in the world want peace. But humility is one of the most important qualities which you must have. Because if you are humble, if you make people realize that you are no threat to them, then people will embrace you. They will listen to you.
Was Muhammad Ali?
Julius Malema, this one for you, baby. This one for you. This one for you. This is for you, Mr. Julius Malema. My leader, be humble. Sit down. You will get your chance. Be humble. Be humble. I'm not classifying you with Hitler or anything, but even Hitler, the most heinous man, was humble before he got to power. So sit down. It's important to always learn, be the student of the game. Sit down. Let them make the mistake while you sitting and watching, collecting power, collecting information, collecting intelligence. Sit down. This one is for you, EFF. Go back to your father, our grandfather. Go back and listen to our grandfather. Maybe you might redirect your course. So let's go.
A hero of yours?
Well, naturally, as far as boxing is concerned, and what he has done, he was my hero, just like Ruben here. This is my hero.
What did you say to him when he told you he loved you?
Well, I was paralyzed because he made my day. And
So what leaders of the 20th century do you admire?
well, I have answered that question. It's not the question of a leader. It's a question of a human being who does something to make an ordinary individual to feel I am a human being and I have a future and I can go to bed feeling strong and full of hope.
And you have praised Fidel Castro as a leader of human rights and said that Cuba was one of the countries that's head and shoulders above all other countries in human rights, despite the fact that documents at the United Nations and elsewhere show that Cuba is one of the worst. I was just wondering, are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies.
He should have dropped the mic right there. Right there. South Africa's khohliwe. Why are we making America's enemy our enemy? Why should, if they are having problem with Iran, why should we have problem with Iran if they supported us in a struggle? Why should we? South Africans, don't be whitewashed into believing something that you really not. Well, when I'm saying believing something you really not, I mean it's you know, angazi ngayibeka kanjani. I don't know how to put this, but it's not morally right to turn against people who helped you when you needed them the most, just because somebody said so. Just that. That's the only reason. I rather, if you helped me in the past, I rather have problem with you with what you are doing to me right now. If you help me in the past and you don't do nothing to me, you don't harm me, you don't do anything wrong to me, and all you've done, you've supported me and you didn't want anything from me, why should I abandon you just because somebody said so? It just doesn't make any logical sense. But let's hear our hero. What does he have to say about this? It seems like people forgot that from the start, ANC stood for these things in the international world, in the international stage. I meant to say, in the international stage, it's not like it's a now thing whereby South Africa would say we are going to the ICJ and say we're filing the complaints against Israel genocide action. No. It's something that even in this interview Mandela spoke about, Mr. Mandela spoke about. He said, we know we have Jews who supported us, and we are grateful and we will always support them. But Palestinians, this is a genocide. In fact, that time it wasn't a genocide. It was an apartheid state. So, couldn't allow the apartheid state. Couldn't allow that to happen. And it stood by that since the beginning. And everybody was paying attention to South Africa. They heard what we stood for. They heard. Why are they acting like they don't know what we stood for? Like it's a new thing. Oh, South Africa, oh, they're doing terrible things. Oh, they knew from the beginning that we won't change the love of the people who've been supporting us, not just verbally or politically, but also with armor to fight the evil apartheid regime. Which human wouldn't do that? Right, let's go. Let's go.
That we can and we will never do. We have our own struggle which we are conducting. We are grateful to the world for supporting our struggle. But nevertheless, we are an independent organization with its own policy. And the attitude of every country towards, our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle.
Come on. If in my struggle, if you ain't with me in the dark days, you wanna shine with me? You wanna shine with me? In the cold, dark days where I was sleeping on the floor, I was with the people that I was with who were supplying me with a sponge, with blankets, not to get the cold. Once I get the money, I buy bed for people who didn't even know, who wanted me to sleep on the floor. That's crazy. That's crazy. To me, it's super crazy to think that we will just turn against China, Russia, Iran, all these so-called communist states who never took a thing from us. Even after 94, when we got liberation, when we made the deals we made, it was just, okay, no threats, no coup, no nothing. So it's crazy. It's crazy in the world. So remove the dust in the head for a second. I've brought you these videos live to you so that you can remember as a South African on what our grandfathers stood for. Where do we come from? So let's go. Let's go. Mama.
Yasser Arafat, Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt. There is no reason whatsoever why we should have any hesitation about hailing their commitment to human rights as they are being demanded in South Africa. Our attitude is based solely on the fact that they fully support the anti-apartheid struggle. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal for us to win the struggle. That is the position.
You'd also said to me one evening, you said, we made the brain dominate the blood.
Our emotion said the white minority is an enemy. We must never talk to them. But our brain said, if you don't talk to this man, your country will go up in flames. And for many years to come, this country will be engulfed in rivers of blood. So we had to reconcile that conflict. And our talking to the enemy was the result of the domination of the brain over emotions.
But then you were...
Come on. Brain over emotions. Use your mind, Black South Africans. Stop sleeping around. Use your mind. Let's be organized, hold government accountable, use the resources that should be allocated to us. If the BEE was allocated to the black people, the majority black people, the right way, not in a Cape deployment, it would have changed South Africa in a positive way. And 10 times more than it is now. If people who have enthusiasm in doing business were supported and funded by government, people who love business, who wanted to go on the edge to make their business thrive, was also funded by the government because of they were previously disenfranchised and they were not given opportunities. So to equalize, had to put systems that will bring them forth so they can all contribute to the economy. And introducing BEE wasn't supposed to be a tool for politics or taking from whites. It was adding blacks into the economy. And the strategic way in this modern day, we know our economy is within the white people. And we are fighting for the crumbs, and we wanna, the crime is this bad because of we are fighting for these crumbs. We need these crumbs. We all need these crumbs, so we're fighting for them. The economy is within the small minority. That's why we're fighting for these crumbs. So if the white people move or do whatever to the economy, we don't even have the crumbs. But that's a topic for another day, because at the point we don't have right education. To be honest, we don't have right education, resources, and self-sufficient. And order, moral order. We don't have moral order at this point. So, honestly, we still need white people as they need us. And it's in their best interest and in our best interest to collaborate more than to compete. But let's go to our
convicted 1964 for conspiracy against the state. And when you pleaded, you said that I am willing to die for this cause. This is a very tough thing to say.
Yes, I had to say that, not from a spirit of bravado, but because I genuinely felt that they were going to hang us. And it is the desire of every freedom fighter to disappear under a cloud of glory rather than that of shame.
Let's disappear in the cloud of glory. No one wanna disappear as a rat who was squashed. So stand for the truth. So for today, this is it. This is it from our leader. To the Black South African, remember your roots, remember who you are, remember your history, remember that you are black and beautiful, and if you are white and beautiful. If you are colored and beautiful. But this message is specifically to my people of the people of the color who seem to have forgotten. And Mandela was sending message to every race. If you had it, you had it. If you didn't, you didn't. But all I'm telling you is, let's go back to the teachings of Mandela. This country will be in order.
I have dedicated my life to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an idea for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if it needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
For anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation. Apparently, Mr. Coppel, you have not listened to my argument. If you have done so, then you have not been serious in examining it. I have replied to one of our friends here that I have refused to be drawn into the differences that exist between various communities inside the USA. You have not commented that I am going to offend anybody by refusing to involve myself in the internal affairs of the USA. Why are you so keen that I should involve myself in the internal affairs of Cuba and Libya?
No.
I expect you to be consistent. I don't know if I have paralyzed you.
No.
I'm afraid, Mr. Mandela, that paralysis does not set in quite that easily in my case. The point...
Thank you guys so much for watching. I made this video because Michael B asked me to. So